You're listening to Reviewing History, your comedy history podcast. I'm filmmaker and teacher Brian Rupert, joined here by...
As always, Steve Dugan.
And
G. Hi.
we have a very special guest here. Someone that I really admire, that I think is really cool in our interactions together.
Wow.
The one and only Brian Nashel.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian. Lovely introduction.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
You're admired.
Thank you. Anthony, Steve, pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nashel's a really good guy. Television producer, right?
Oh, what's some of your work?
Yeah. What's some of my work?
Yes.
Oh, Comic Book Men.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, Dual Survival, Storm Chasers, Big Little Brawlers. Just aired on
The
Discovery.
reality circuit.
Reality circuit, male factual, they call it. A lot of programming geared toward the male audience.
Like
How great
Josh
is Survivor Man?
Survivor Man, Les Stroud. Yeah, I didn't do that show.
I know, but he's awesome.
Yeah. Les Stroud's awesome. Les Stroud's awesome. He's also quite a troubadour with his guitar.
Is
he
he
does,
really?
Yeah, he does gigs. He sort of ended up, writing folk music and playing, in clubs
I like
all over
this guy
Canada.
even better.
Yeah, Les Stroud's all right.
So you've been in TV for a while, and you started, or an early gig was MTV's Boiling Points.
Correct.
Now, a clip went viral fairly recently. I wanted to ask you about this,
Yes.
about Lady Gaga, pre-Lady Gaga on MTV's Boiling Point. So I wanted to ask, was she cast, or was it she just happened to be there?
Yeah, nobody knew who she was. So the way it would work, especially in the later seasons, we started casting for friends who wanted to prank their friends, and a lot of times that friend would be involved and help us, like give a phone call at a convenient time or whatever. So her friend applied for casting and said, "I have a friend to prank." And I was there that day. She ended up. Obviously, no one batted an eye. Like, oh my God, that girl's going to be ridiculously famous one day.
What year was this?
This
roughly?
was roughly 2004, 2005.
Right before.
Yeah, so she must have been an NYU student. But yeah, that's how it worked. Like, nobody signed up to be like, prank me. It was a friend would nominate, or a spouse or a girlfriend,
Okay.
boyfriend. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, was she a mark that just happened to, because I watched the clip. She's sitting alone in
Yeah.
a diner
Yeah, a
or
little
something.
restaurant,
Yeah.
yeah.
What is the clip? What happens? I haven't seen it.
I don't remember exactly, but basically the premise of the show is they go and they try to piss you off, and however long you can last, if you get to a certain amount, you win money.
Brian's sweating so much it looks like he's crying.
Yeah.
Brian's hitting his boiling point.
It's so goddamn hot in here.
Cooked. It's cooked.
But they want to see how long you can go without exploding on this person.
Oh, so they try to piss you off.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so some of them were cast, but other pranks, we would just show up and take over, behind the counter at a CVS or a dry cleaners or something, and then we would pick people. They'd come, the actors would have earbuds in, and we could tell them like, nah, let her go, let him go. Okay, go
guy,
for it. Yeah, this guy.
Precursor to Jokers, amongst other things.
Precursor to Jokers, yeah. So I did Boiling Points for a while, and then actually when Jokers got greenlit, I got the call from Charlie, who owned the production company. I went in, I sat around a table like this with all the guys, and because I had the hidden camera experience,
Right.
And
that's pre-comic book man.
pre-comic book men, so they were great guys. Obviously, we almost did it. I'm like, sure, I'll do the show, but they couldn't come up with the money because it was a brand new show. They didn't have the money, and I was kind of
You had
seasoned
been
at
around
that
a
time.
while,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I wished them well and moved on.
Worked out for everybody.
Worked out. Ended up working with Q on a bunch of stuff on Comic Book Man, and got into the world anyway. So yeah.
It's perfect.
I think he was probably there that day we were on the show.
He was not.
He was not.
We were on Comic Book Man. I don't know if you know this.
No, in
I-
what capacity?
So I was there to sell comics when I made my first independent feature, the only one. But when I did it, I sold some books for money. So I went, and it was in the time period you were not the producer. It was the other people. And they had him because he came with me because I didn't know they were like shooting. I just happened to be
I was
there.
an extra.
And they put him in the background. He's like looking through books or whatever.
Pretending to be like,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yep.
And I sold my books or whatever. But then afterwards, they had me, do the interviews with the camera, like Pawn Stars and all that,
Right.
which I know, that wasn't your brand on the show, and all that shit never aired. It's
Never
in a
aired,
vault
yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Or deleted.
But that's not what we're here to talk about. But that was on my mind. I've been waiting to ask you that about
Wild.
Lady Gaga. We're going to talk about the movie Iron Claw.
The Iron
The
Claw.
Iron Claw.
The Iron
Oh, is that what it's called? The
Yes.
Iron Claw?
Was this
Okay, I didn't even know.
was this a recommendation or did you pick this? Because we let guests pick this. Sometimes we give recommendations. How did this come about?
So I actually wanted to do quiz show.
okay.
I wanted to do something related to TV with Nashel, and I find like I love the movie quiz show, but I find like that whole regulation stuff interesting. So like I was going to ask you about because I know you did boiling points. That had to be regulated by the government, right? Like you have or
Well,
not
government's
really?
a strong word. I mean, regulated
really?
by MTV and certain state laws. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so I wanted to do that, and I asked Nashel, and I could tell you weren't super hot on that idea. And he's like, "I'll think of a movie." And I was like, "Okay." And he wanted to do Iron Claw, and I was like, "All right."
Well, I'll tell you why I didn't want to do quiz
Yeah.
show because I too loved quiz show, and then for a while, like decades ago, whenever it was on, I would stop and I would watch this scene or that scene. The thought of watching it again, just I couldn't do it. I've seen it so many times, right? I'm like I can't sit through it again and like reacquaint myself with it. But also, that's not really my world. There are people who produce in the sort of the game show world, and it's a different kind of producing,
Okay.
right? So it's not my world. So I felt like I didn't have that much to add. I wanted to see Iron Claw. I had never seen it before I said let's do it.
Yeah.
I watched it, but I thought Iron Claw would be good because I just did a wrestling show with Big Little Brawlers on Discovery.
right.
I was a wrestler. I was into wrestling when I was a kid, so it probably
So this
right.
is your era.
Yeah, so a little like right before my era, like when I was a kid, like late 70s. I was into, the Samoans and Superfly Snuka and all those guys. And then, dabbled a little when they got old. So it was my era. I just did a wrestling show. So I kind of just rode that line between I had all those conversations about the kayfabe of it all and what we're going to show and what we're going to reveal. So I kind of got into it.
Had you seen the movie before this?
I hadn't seen it. So
So
then
you didn't know it was just a grief, tear fest.
I did not know. I didn't know what the idea was, but I know that when it was over, I felt like jumping off a building.
Slash thirst trap.
It was just like dark and kept getting darker. And I really, by the time these Von Erichs were, around, I really wasn't paying attention to it. So I remember
You're
I
just
didn't
thinking
know
about
the
calling
story.
your own brother and being like, "I love you, man."
Yeah, it was a rough watch, man.
I don't want to lose you.
It's even darker in real life because there's another brother who kills himself that they cut out of the movie. They were like, the movie is dark enough. We don't need another one.
Chris.
Like you get the point. Yeah.
Chris, at 21,
Wow.
they just left him out entirely.
I don't want to jump the gun, but we could all agree. Failed father?
He didn't do the best job.
It's interesting.
It's hard to say, but you lost a lot of them.
I think the movie wants to blame him, and I think he's way more villainous in real life. And I saw an interview where Kevin Von Erich was speaking about his dad, and he was basically like, the movie villainizes him. He's like, he wasn't a bad guy.
Yeah.
That's what I discovered
Yeah.
too. That's my main thing I typed up on my paper was, when you're making a film like this, obviously you need heroes and villains. And it was like, okay, we could lean into the dad. But I think that it's like, and not to get political at all, but, coming out of Hollywood, the slant on a father like that is evil.
Right.
Coming out of Texas, the slant on a father like that is good fathering.
Yeah.
Right? You gave them direction, you gave them discipline, you gave them opportunities, you were hard on them, and then they fall subject to human nature.
Yeah.
Because I think about what their lives would have been like if their father hadn't given them the gift of wrestling.
Sure.
One of them gets robbed at the Olympics. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
Could just be cursed.
Yeah, I actually was thinking about that as I was watching the movie. It's like they're a German Texas family. They've probably original pioneer stock. There's probably a long tradition of dealing with because the whole thing is how do you deal with grief and emotions, and they just bottle them up and put them aside because when you're a pioneer. In Texas, you have to do that, and I'm sure this guy's father was the same way, and his father before him was the same way, and it's there's a survival thing, and then it gets to be 1978, and suddenly that's not as important, and you need to be a human being.
Right. So like Rob too, I saw some interviews with the father, and they made him so absolutely unfeeling. But I saw these interviews. He was crying, you know, he was emotional, he was hugging the kids. And I saw a couple interviews with the kids, and they were like, spoke only in the most glowing terms about their father. We're very grateful to have him as a father. But yeah, of course.
So did they not have anything to do with the making of the film? Well, what's his name, Derek?
Kevin.
Kevin.
No, I don't believe so. I think it's based on a book, if I'm correct. Let me see.
So this is somebody else's interpretation of their lives.
It's not based on a book. I'm wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they didn't, because Kevin's still alive.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they couldn't get him on to just be like, hey.
I wonder if he's had anything to say
accurate?
about that.
Yeah.
I would.
He's spoken about it.
Yeah, I would imagine they need. I would imagine. Don't quote me,
Eh.
but that they would need his permission to tell his life story.
I would think so.
Yes, and I would imagine they had him on as a consultant. And I'll bet if you took the time to read about it, you'd find that these actors were hanging out with him, especially what's his name, Zac Efron. You know, hanging out with him, getting a vibe for him. I would imagine that happened, and I would imagine he had to give his blessing, if not like legal sign off.
I would hope so, but I also think they did because I feel like he was very, maybe I don't know the complete backstory of him, like personal backstory, but it seemed like Kevin was the rose-colored glasses in here. Everything he did was noble, correct. He was the innocent guy, and as a human,
The
you're
Henry
not.
Hill syndrome.
The Henry Hill syndrome. You're not. So like, I feel like he was the shining star, which he should be. He's the main character, but I guarantee you there's some darkness in there surrounding that world that they could have brushed upon a little more.
But I think when you have all this darkness, you need the ray of light.
Yeah.
You know?
Of course.
So I get why they would do that for the movie. The writer started developing it in 2015. I can't find anything in my brief search about them talking to
Kevin.
yeah, but you know, it is what it is.
Let me ask you a question. Every wrestler portrayed in this movie,
Yeah.
except for Kevin, is dead, right?
No, Ric Flair's alive.
Ric Flair's alive?
Yeah.
Okay. Just
And I'll
make-
tell you this, they nailed him. Like anything you see with him,
yeah.
he's like his character that he portrayed, he became him in real life. Like
Right.
he's always drunk, like he's constantly drunk from like the time he wakes up until he goes to bed to this day.
Dressing like a pimp, very metrosexual.
I don't
Love
know
it.
if he still dresses
love it.
like that, but you know, he talks shit and like he's drunk and a party guy.
I'm sure we're gonna get into it, but this movie like gets deep into the 80s. Where's Vince and the Hulkster? Like, why aren't they part of this?
Well, it doesn't get that deep into the 80s by the time Kevin is still like wrestling. Because Vince buys the company from his dad around like mid 80s. So Vince McMahon Sr. owns the company.
So he's just like I don't know how this happened. So what? They were competing wrestling factions.
Okay.
They're like
All
local.
right. Brief history on this type of wrestling. So catch wrestling comes out. The wrestlers start staging their fights so they don't have to get beat up every night. It evolves into pro wrestling, right? It gets more and more fanciful and more
Ridiculous.
clearly staged with clotheslines, and it's not based on holds anymore. And this is pre-TV. So now you have different federations, territories.
Okay.
So you have like somewhere in the Southwest, there's a territory. Somewhere in the Northeast and all over the country, you have different territories with their own champions. NWA is a big one. That's the like kind of the predominant
Coast.
one. Yeah. I think Northwest Alliance might be.
I was making
I
rap
yeah,
reference.
I see.
It was good. It was good.
got
You
it.
should have just went full in though. You know, you should just,
No,
Well, Brian would cut it out if I went.
I definitely would. So you have all these different territories, and WWF is just another one. It's not the global brand.
Oh, so did it become the biggest and just bought all the other ones? Is that what happened?
Eventually, Vince, when he takes over, because there was a rule, you don't poach other territories' talent. So once Vince gets control, he's like, I'm buying all the talent. And he starts stealing guys from other organizations.
WCW was like the second.
WCW
contender, right?
was the main competitor, and when Ted Turner came in, now they had the money to go against Vince, and they dominated WWF for like I think it's like a 5-year stretch, and it wasn't until like the Stone Cold Attitude Era where it flipped, and then it never went back.
Is that ECW?
ECW was more independent.
ECW was like pay-per-view / like you have to buy the DVD, the tapes.
It's like
to actually
3
watch
a.m.
them.
on like MSG.
Wait. Really? I thought
way
it was
more
like a big
bloody.
thing.
No, way more bloody, way more violent.
It was like cult.
Is that Hollywood Hulk Hogan?
Hollywood Hogan was WCW.
Okay.
Yeah. So NWA kind of almost morphs into WCW later on. But
this is WCCW.
yeah. Yeah, it's a whole different organization. But that's why...
Fucking acronym. Do you know this? Are you familiar with all this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, when you were a kid, and wrestling is just starting to be put on TV, it's kind of what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you'll catch an NWA match,
Yeah.
sometimes it's WWF. And
Yeah.
So it's nigh impossible to figure out exactly what you're watching.
No,
Because it's just too
there's
convoluted
symbols.
and stupid.
I don't know. I wasn't alive.
Yeah. I mean, it was so underground. It was like Channel 9 at 11 o'clock at night, or you would just land on it sometimes. And honestly, as a kid, you wouldn't think about
Are you from New York area?
Jersey. Yeah.
Okay. This thing going on in Dallas in the movie.
Yeah.
Do you have any concept? Would a person have any concept of that?
No.
I wouldn't think so. It's
local.
just completely local.
Nope.
And it's pre-internet.
Right. Okay.
That's why I think in the movie they make such a big deal about the opportunities when he's on, when he's wrestling for the NWA belt.
Right.
It's national
That's a national thing. People are going to see your performance,
and international.
and it's going to help our local show, but it's going to help you get to the next level. So I think that's kind of
If you were buying the wrestling magazines, that's the only way you
Right.
would know.
I got you.
Yeah.
Which is questionable when somebody sees you reading a wrestling magazine and doesn't know what it is.
What do you mean?
A lot of sweaty men on the front cover. A lot of sweaty men. This was I was shocked at
how aroused you
how
are.
around.
This is something I never considered.
I never. Okay.
Maybe I'm a bear.
Maybe. I feel funny. My wife's like, "What's going on?" I was shocked at how jacked everyone was in this. To be completely honest, Zac Efron looks like he was on steroids, like he was method acting, and I don't know if it was makeup or he actually is like that now.
Well, did you see his Baywatch remake?
No,
He's
did
pretty
you?
fucking jacked in that too. Yeah.
Yeah. That's him. He got jacked up for it. But I'll tell you what, when you see the real Von Erichs, these guys couldn't hold a candle to him.
They're a lot smaller.
The real Von Erichs would squash these guys with their left hand without even thinking about it. They were massive. They had they weren't. I mean, who's as shredded as Efron was?
Yeah.
But they had the massive traps, the fucking massive Ferrigno shoulders. Some of them. I mean, the one they didn't deal with in the movie, Chris, was 5'5".
Yeah, he was never going to make it.
Yeah, they just threw him out. He had brittle bone disease. He was 5'5". They're like, we need a Von Efron, son. Von Efron. The worlds are melding.
I'm here to see the tapestries.
But it's funny you bring up kind of that. So his father, the way he cut his bones,
Fritz?
he played a Nazi villain.
Oh, yeah?
Like he'd come to the ring and it was like it wasn't a swastika on, he had like a cape.
It was like the Iron Cross.
Yeah, it was an Iron Cross. Yeah, and that was he was like the German heel.
Oh.
And he was part of a Nazi tag team.
Yeah, because it was post World War II, and he
Yeah.
was like, "What's the way to get the most heat?
Right.
I'll be a Nazi."
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what he did, and they lived their trail, but he broke through, and then eventually he became a baby face, which is a good guy in
good
wrestling
guy.
terms.
Oh, okay.
Heel is
bad guy.
heel is bad guy, baby face is a good guy. I used to love pro wrestling as a kid. You know this.
Yes, very
I
much.
was obsessed. That was my early dream as a 12 or 13-year-old.
Who was your favorite wrestler?
I
Bret
always
the Hitman Hart?
Nah, I liked Shawn Michaels. That was always my guy.
He was crazy.
Who, me?
Shawn Michaels.
Oh.
He was a crazy wrestler.
Me.
Yeah, you were crazy. You still are.
Did you guys do the backyard wrestling
yeah.
with each
Yeah,
other?
of course, yeah.
Flying off
Well,
roofs.
we took martial arts together also, so it was.
It was
it would
just
start
fighting.
with wrestling, and then we would just fight.
Right.
It would every time.
I remember one time I fucking leg dropped you off the couch in my mother's house.
went
dude,
out.
And I choked him.
I
Yeah.
couldn't breathe.
It's male bonding.
Yeah,
at its finest.
exactly.
Yeah, we're still friends.
That's what kids do. You beat each other up.
And
If,
knock
you,
each
if, you,
other
if you're lucky, you get the opportunity to have friends that you can
Yeah.
beat up and hang out with.
And
almost
had a brother.
paralyzed.
Yeah.
Did you fight your brother a lot?
Not
playing
really.
around?
He's 4 years younger than me, so it was I was just very much bigger than him.
So it would be bullying.
Yeah, it was definitely instilled in me not to do that.
Okay.
I used to fuck with him. I'd go in his room and move things around. It was weird.
It was psychological bullying. See where it's at.
To rearrange all his drawers.
Yeah, shit like that.
So evil.
That seems worse. Like he thinks he's having a break from reality.
He got a gift once. It was a Bug's Life motion detecting like alarm. It was the grasshopper from the Bug's Life. And
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, and it would yell at you like so. After a while, like I'd go in his room, and then this fucking robot bug would be like making noise. It'd be like, "Get out of here," and then set off an alarm. Yeah,
That's actually funny.
yeah, it was sick.
Now, so this guy, what's it? Fritz
Fritz,
von
the dad.
Erich, right? He has this move, the claw,
The Iron Claw.
the Iron Claw, and it's just like you just grab someone's head, and you just squeeze.
You're squeezing
Just
their head.
squeezing his
Yeah.
head. It reminds me of Sacco. Did you get that?
It's kind of a precursor to the mandible claw.
Yeah.
The move becomes pretty famous, and you may know this, but there's an NES game, Pro Wrestling. It's like the first pro wrestling game Nintendo puts out, and they have characters loosely based on pro wrestlers at the time. Like there's a guy who's clearly Ric Flair, but it's not Ric Flair. They have a Von Erich, and he does the Iron Claw.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
He's not Von Erich, but he is. It's like
Yeah,
a fun
I'd
thing.
never heard of these guys. Were they famous? I guess they were.
I think for wrestling fans, they
Yeah.
were, especially at the time. And
There was
they
Andre
became
the
infamous.
Giant. He was around back then.
Well, I think what the film lacked to do, and I'm glad you asked that question, because what the film did not do, I think, was portray exactly how famous they were. You know, like the fans, the wrestling fans, love them. They were all over those magazines. They were filling stadiums. Like all you needed to do. That's why, like at one point, they didn't deal with this in the movie too. When I think the second brother died, or after David died,
Kerry.
yeah, they made up another brother. They took another guy named
Mike.
Lance,
Yeah.
who wasn't a Von Erich, and they put him out there as a Von Erich with the idea that anyone with the Von Erich name is going to be a huge draw. So they put him out there, and then it sort of is looked at as a stain on their legacy. The fact that they threw this Lance out there thinking they could trick the public who loved the Von Erich family.
Well, you know, now that I know that, it kind of makes me understand the incentive to like make all of them wrestle. Like the guy Mike, who clearly wasn't a wrestler, and it's like you have to wrestle.
Yeah.
Because we have this brand where we're all brothers, and we need another guy.
It's the
now.
family trade.
Right.
You know? That's their profession.
Okay.
It's like if your dad's a blacksmith, you're going to learn blacksmithing. I don't know why in like
Right, because
2025.
we have a caste system.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that, I mean, honestly, you know, it came up early with us. I understand why they made the father the villain. He's like the Darth Vader, right? He's a pure villain in that movie, like a comic book villain.
Yeah.
And but I think in reality, he saw a rough world for his sons. He saw limited opportunities for them living in, you know, somewhere in West Texas, and was like, dude, I got the golden ticket. All you guys need to do is follow in my footsteps, get in shape, kick some ass, be a big character, and you could be rich and famous beyond your wildest dreams. Well, you know, and that's a common story. What people don't realize is sometimes being rich and famous beyond your wildest dreams is a fucking death sentence. At the very least, it's a prison sentence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would never wish that upon my children to be famous.
Yeah.
Rich is
Especially-
one thing. Famous is another.
Rich is fine. Famous, especially now, it's a prison sentence. So there's always that other side of the coin. And, you know, when you're 20 years old and all of a sudden everyone's telling you you're a god, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know how I would have hit, like at 18, because like I was like a little asshole. Like I had a PBA card and I do like 86 on like the shoulder of a highway and I was invincible.
Brain-time.
I can't
Brain-time, yeah.
I can't imagine if like I was given the keys to like wealth and fame beyond like what I could imagine at like 20. I'd be dead probably.
I'm kind of upset now that you brought that up that they didn't.
Oh,
make-
they said I didn't die.
No, I'm upset. I'm upset that you're not
I
famous.
am upset.
That they didn't show their fame, because if you watch this with no knowledge of the background, I would have been like, yeah, they're small town guys and they have small town crowd and they're just trying to make it big. And what are they dying for? Because it gives like a heavier sacrifice than, oh, they're really famous. This sacrifice makes sense.
They have
know?
little moments where they pay off their fame, but I don't think it gels with the movie, where they'll show like tons of crowds around them, and like they're coming out and signing autographs that it looks like celebrities leaving like a restaurant or something.
Right.
And I don't think it fits with the movie unless you have the external knowledge of how big they were.
Yeah, like when the brother David died in Japan, they had huge memorials. The streets were packed for his funeral. It was like a big deal if you followed wrestling.
Right. And in this, it's like he died, and it's a small.
Well, there is
funeral,
like there is a scene with a press conference, and I remember thinking, like, I was watching, like, why do they need a press conference?
Right. Because they're not big. So
Yeah, but I guess
Should we dive into the movie?
Yeah.
Let's.
of course.
So the movie opens, it's some black and white wrestling, and then it's post match, and now we see Fritz and his family, and
Yeah, it looks like it's the 50s.
they're living in like a trailer in the 50s.
Traveling.
He's like, I'm gonna make it.
Traveling
got a
wrestler.
Cadillac.
Yeah, I'm gonna be world champion.
This
Got a
is
Cadillac.
This is real. They did live in a trailer like this until he broke through. He was wrestling, I think, in like the East Coast, like somewhere in one of these territories, and then they came west and went to Texas, and that's where they cut their bones.
Oh, so they're not from Texas?
He is, but I think he had been wrestling in like a North territory,
Right.
trying to make it there, and then he went back to Texas.
I got you. Well, it looks like the company's his. Like he started it.
Well, he starts his own eventually,
yeah.
but he has to become popular and get money to do that,
see.
Yeah. And typically what a lot of these guys do is you become like known as a good wrestler and you have a name, and then you start your own federation and you're the front man for it, and you're the lead. And then eventually when you get older, you pass the torch and you have other guys. In this case, it's his kids.
Right.
So he still has full control. It's still his
In
family.
the family.
Whereas Vince is at the, like, if you think of the McMahons, they're not wrestling. So they're at the behest of whoever the wrestler is.
Right.
That's their guy.
Right.
So it's
traveling
1979.
That's why Stone Cold filled his car with cement.
Yes.
You were allowed to get away with that.
And we see a match between them and the Iron Sheik.
Yeah.
Really? That was the Iron Sheik?
I'm 90% sure that's supposed to be the Iron Sheik.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The camel
I
clutch.
break your back.
Yes. I humble you.
Yes.
And piss my pants on Opie and Anthony.
Yeah. He did that.
Oh, yeah.
This is also 1979. Iran is going on, so I guess it
Yeah.
makes sense that that's
Hot
a good
topic.
bad guy to use. Yeah. And now it's family breakfast in the morning, and he's talking about the rankings.
Yes. He ranks his children.
This
which
makes
is,
it so evil.
Yeah, I mean, and right away you're like, oh, this guy's a terrible human being.
Yeah.
He's a terrible father. Did that conversation ever happen? I doubt it, but
That's real.
that's a real conversation.
He ranked his kids. That is 100%.
As you know,
I guess it's
Gary
real.
is my favorite.
It seems unbelievable because the kids always ask you, "Who do you like better?" Who you like? It's even. It's always even. You never pick one over the other.
The ranking can change.
Well, you have
And
two
even if you do,
kids.
you
Yeah.
don't tell them.
No, you won't tell them.
To be fair, I grew up in a house where they clearly did. I am not the favorite.
No, you kind of know. The kids know, but you never say it. One kid could be stabbing you in the face, and you're like, equal.
We do that here. That's how we get stuff done.
The spirit of competition between all these brothers must have been insanely intense.
It is.
Why? But yet they all like respect each other and help each other, and like you'd think they'd all hate each other, you know?
Well, you want to do it honorably, you know?
I guess
It's
yeah,
like-
it's like this weird like chivalry they've.
You just don't
crafted.
understand the Germans.
It's
That's
it's like
problem.
if I am the best, you know,
Yes.
then I will rise up the rankings.
Right.
And it's the only way to do it. If I backstab my brother, I'm only going to go down the rankings. So you have to
You
do
have
it
to
on.
maintain
Yeah.
decorum.
Yes. Now before I saw this, because me and my wife, we have another kid on the way. I keep telling her, I'm like, I feel bad for the next one because she's always going to be number 2. This one is my favorite. And now I have to reflect on that joke a bit.
Just don't say it, Rob. Just don't say it.
Well, the other one's not here, you know?
Yes.
yeah.
No matter what, never say it.
Never say it? Okay. It's good advice. I'll listen.
He'll hint at it though. He won't directly say it.
They'll know
Gotta keep
instinctively.
him.
Yeah.
Gotta keep him in line.
They always know. Were you your parents' favorite?
Yes.
He wants to say yes.
I'm not going to answer that question.
It's a yes. We all know.
yeah.
Steve, were you? No.
No. My sisters joke about it. Like,
That you're not?
That I'm the golden child, and I'm not. My oldest sister.
Your oldest?
And then my youngest.
Oh.
So my father loves my youngest sister, and then my mother loves my older sister.
And no one loves the two middle kids.
We're just there.
Well, that sounds.
We're there.
about
They
right.
love us, but we're there.
Yeah.
We're not.
Yeah, that's classic birth order stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, my father and me have a
We know
contentious
this.
relationship. We haven't spoken since like 2008.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a whole other thing. But
So this hits home, huh?
no.
No.
Really. My mother, though, I was always clearly number 2.
He tried to have sex with her.
With my mother?
Whoa, that was like Anthony.
About?
Anthony, man, what's going on? That was out of left. What are these accusations? Are you slinging across the table? Who's
No
having
one
sex
heard me
with-
say it, but when you said I had a contentious relationship with my father, I said he tried to have sex with him.
Guys, I didn't know it was this kind of
So I just did
show.
a follow up. Everyone heard the second half.
I don't know which one's better. They're both gold.
Back to wrestling.
Yeah,
folks.
yeah.
Back to wrestling. We're not talking about Back to the Future here.
George, your father's the same place as in the last 12 years.
So Mike is like a rock guy. Like he wants to be like a rock star.
He's
Fucking
artist.
listening to Rush.
Yeah.
He's an artist. He
Rocking.
plays- yeah.
Playing a song that sounds like it's from the 90s in
That's-
1979.
I took that note too. I was going to ask you guys. None of the music that he's playing sounds era appropriate.
Right? You're absolutely correct. And also, I think that's a storyline they blew out big time. Nothing I saw made it seem like this kid was like, the next Cat Stevens.
Right.
It just didn't come up anywhere.
I mean-
this was even a possibility for this kid.
How would we even know, though? I mean, look, he's playing in a house party. Like, maybe that was his passion, maybe not. Who knows?
Maybe when he was a teen, he's like, I don't want to wrestle. I'd rather do music. You know.
I think it's something that, you would take. Like I always say when you're making a reality show, you take what's real and then like you put it under a magnifying glass and blow it up. And I think if I'm doing research for this movie and in some of the descriptions, it's like, oh, he played guitar, he had a guitar in his room, he played out at some local parties. I take that and I'm like, okay, this kid wants to be a famous musician, wants to get out of this, does not want to wrestle, you know what I mean? Has
Write a
big
storyline.
dreams. And then you just pump that up. The same way you pump up the dad is a heartless villain.
Right.
I think that's what happened here. I don't know if he really had such high aspirations, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, there's not much about it as far as like record, but it works for the movie. And I like this early part of the movie where I gotta be honest, this isn't my style of movie in general, where like it's kind of just meandering about like floating around like what's happening. I like where it's like
He likes when
character.
there's bright colors.
No,
Explosions.
I like when it's like character is trying to accomplish specific thing and we follow him along that path. Where this is more like slice of life going in and out of their life, you know?
Yeah.
Well, you
But
gotta show
I
all
like
parts, right?
Yeah, I
'Cause-
like this early part though, where they're all just kind of chilling on the beach, and we see the bond with the brothers. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
or the
It's
lake.
nice. It's nice.
You also see a
They're inner tubing
contrast.
together.
Yeah, lazy rivering. You see a contrast between the parents that should have been more dealt with. I think it was shown here, but it could have dived a little deeper because a parent, like, they're like, oh, she's all about God, and you see them in mass, and she's praying in the car for him, and that's all we really get about the mother, and then it's just sadness and occasionally like, I love you.
Yeah, she was not a fleshed out character.
I think you could have switched some of these scenes around to add a little more depth to her,
Well-
as opposed to being like, here's some partying with musicians. It's like,
I
hey,
actually
you really
have,
need that.
I have a thought on the mother. If
She
you
knew
look-
her place.
Well, yes. If you look at the first scene, she sees the Cadillac. She gives him shit about it. She prays that he's just gonna like make this work and like breaks his balls a little bit. By the time the flash forward happens, she's completely a broken woman. He's beaten her into submission. She doesn't even like raise her voice.
That's fair.
You know?
Yeah.
It's more to like reflect on it. Like he must have been just an awful person to be around.
I mean, she's like a woman of her time almost. You know, she's not written like a 2024 woman or 2025 woman.
Texas 79.
Yeah,
They eventually get divorced.
they do.
They don't deal with it in the movie.
I think that scene at the end with the two of them is supposed to kind of like hint at it, where like she's like,
painting.
I'm not cooking for you,
Right.
You know,
Sure, and that's what happens. But I will say, I forgot to mention when I was talking about the musician kid. So to finish that thought, it's just another way of pitting you against the father, of making it very clear that the father is the villain, because now he's literally crushing this kid's dreams, snatching his dreams away from him and crushing them. And same with the mother. I think all these characters were built in how do we make this guy seem as culpable and as evil and unfeeling as possible.
yeah.
He has a quiet tyranny, because it's not like he's like yelling or like being monstrous. It's just stern persuasion.
Well, like you with your younger brother, it's a lot of psychological manipulation.
I mean, saying that, I mean, as a parent, I can imagine being like, if you don't do this, you're going to go down the rankings of who I love the most.
Yeah.
You know, I imagine that, like, from your hearing that your whole life has to fuck with you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it just makes you into a champion, depending who you ask.
That's the thing. They all kind of succeed. So we see Zac Efron doing, like, bad promos, like he's fucking up. He's not that good on the mic.
Right.
This was nice, the interview acting, where it's like, yeah, follow the script, you're going to mess up, do another take. You don't get a lot of that, showing that it's like, yes, this is set up, this is behind-the-scenes stuff. Like, there's cameras, there's lights, there's a crew doing this. It's not just, like, two people with one camera pointing. Like,
Yeah.
I liked it. It's still an entertainment
And his
industry,
brother is laughing
you know?
at him.
Yeah.
That aspect of wrestling is I've always considered to be the funniest and most fun part of it. The like, what do they call it?
The promos.
Yeah, they're just great. Like the Shockmaster. You ever see the Shockmaster?
No.
Tell 'em about the
all right,
Shockmaster.
it's a great clip. So it's WCW like 1994, and this is why I wish we could throw to the screen, because I'm not gonna do it justice. So they're like building the war between these two factions, right? So it's like there's one of four bad guys, and the heroes are like all together and like, and we have a surprise entrance.
Yes.
We bring you
None other than
the Shockmaster.
And the Shockmaster bursts through a wall.
And
And he's wearing a stormtrooper helmet with glitter all
painted
over
with
it.
glitter. and
then
he
he
falls
trips.
on his face.
He trips over a plank of wood.
and the helmet like falls off and he's like scrambling to put it back.
Amazing.
And you see the other wrestlers, the good guys, cover their faces and they're like, oh God. And it's done. Like his gimmick is over in 10 seconds.
It was the best thing ever.
It's really funny clip.
You also get a nice little pre-fight choreograph scene, like choreography. They're like, all right, we're gonna do this, then we're gonna do this. Don't hurt me here, and it's nice that they're showing the behind-the-scenes entertainment factor of it.
Yeah, what was interesting about that scene reminded me of the series I did for Discovery, right? Big Little Brawlers. I got to be on the inside of how it works, right? And let me tell you something. I will never say wrestling is fake again. Because I saw the abuse those guys take, and I learned some really cool things. Like, yes, they'll basically choreograph, but you could take two of the best guys. You know, you could take Hot Rod and Little Show, throw them in the ring together, and say, "Hey, I need you guys to do the finale right now." And the way they communicate verbally and non-verbally without the audience knowing is masterful. So they are sometimes making up the outcome along the way. Oftentimes based on the audience reaction.
But they know who's supposed to win or lose.
They
right?
do, but they don't have to stick to it.
Oh, really?
They basically know, but they can gauge. And if the audience really wants like the heel to win that match, they'll say, take it.
Yeah.
And they'll communicate how that ending is going to happen without anybody ever knowing. And it's pretty fucking genius. And I never was on the inside of that shit before. And I gained a whole new respect for it. And that was a big conversation, though. How much of that can we reveal, right? The kayfabe, which was a term I didn't even know.
Okay. Yeah,
You guys know
kayfabe is basically how much you want to project. I'm kind of butchering it, but it's how much you want to project of the behind the scenes to the real world.
Yeah.
So like I have a character, right? And let's say all the time I'm the Undertaker. I'm like the dead man, right? I'm playing like this guy.
You're a zombie man.
And then you run into me in like a restaurant. Do I pretend like I'm the dead man, or do I stay in character? Do I break kayfabe and I'm like, hey, I'm Mark, nice to meet you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So we've got scenes like in my series, Hot Rod and Little Show, were big rivals, right? So we have scenes with them going at it, not in the ring, just going at it in the locker room, going at it in the gym. But then we have scenes of them working shit out where they're buddies. And that was like a very tight little line we had to ride, because are we totally destroying
You're gonna ruin the
kayfabe
gimmick. Yeah.
and ruin the experience for our viewers on Discovery? So that was a real fine line we had to balance. But those guys that know how to do it are just masterful, was the word that kept coming to my mind. Like, look at that, man. And they'll change on a dime.
There's a great scene in the movie of him on the date with his girlfriend, where he explains exactly like what the belts mean in the real world beyond like just I'm the champion. Like this is a promotion. You get this for being excellent at the gig.
It's recognition.
You know, it's recognition, and I needed to have that explained to me to like make this make sense. Because I just kept thinking like, they just decide that you won today.
Right.
Like,
I had the same thought. It's like, what does this matter? You know?
You pre-planned the tag team winners. What does it matter being a tag team champ? And it's like, well, you guys performed together very well, so you get a raise.
Right.
Right.
You know,
so
like-
we would do that shit. Like our finale of our series, the owner of the Micro Wrestling Federation decided that the young guy, Hot Rod, was going to win the cage match. We did the first like little people cage match.
Can I ask a question?
yeah.
Is it a small cage? Or
No,
is
it
it's
was
a built
big,
cage?
dude. We built it basically.
No, I wasn't sure if it was like a 6-foot cage.
Oh no,
or,
dude! You should see it. It's impressive. That
Okay.
cage match was one of the most brutal things I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
And you know,
I just realized you did a midget wrestling show.
yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm used to. Although they
don't
say
like midget.
Well, no. Here's the thing. They say midget all the time internally. Like but you know, political correctness would dictate you cannot say it, especially when you're putting it on TV. We had to say little people the whole time.
It's like
But
the
they say
N-word.
it all the time. No, they literally have to say now the M word, right? But these dudes had tattoos that said like midget mayhem. We had to blur them. The one dude had a car, okay, on the hood of the car, and on every side it said midget mafia, midgets running midget town. That's what it said. And I really fought with the network. Like, dude,
MRMT.
he wants his car, man. He's proud of his piece of shit car, the midget mafia mobile. And you guys you're gonna blur it like it's like. So there's a big point of contention, especially with like I forgot the name of the.
Where is
like,
Midget Town? Is that near Toontown?
It's near. It's adjacent. There's a thing. I don't know, it's too deep. But the LPA, Little People's Association of America, does not like midget wrestling. And so they say it, they don't say it. So it was an interesting conversation. We had a lot, but but I'm not allowed to say it.
Isn't that messed up from the LPA though? Because it's almost like the Snow White thing, where Disney is like, when we do Snow White, we're not going to cast any dwarf actors because Peter Dinklage will be upset. But 7 dwarf actors lost jobs now.
This is America. There's money in having a grievance. That's
Bubby,
really it.
these guys are making 6 figures. These guys
great.
are making a lot of money. And before that,
Don't tell Dinklage. He's going to come for them.
dude, they're working at Target for nothing. They're working at
right.
Burger King, being treated like shit, and now they're kings. I mean, you're going to try to deny them that? And so you know what? They want to call themselves midget wrestlers because that's the legacy they love. Their heroes are their forefathers, you know, in the sport. Anyway, man, I got a whole new appreciation for it. And let me tell you, those guys got nothing against the word.
Okay.
Can I ask you a bit off-topic question? You're
Yeah.
familiar with the TLC network, I imagine.
I am.
Have you ever worked for them?
Not directly, but they are
then I'm
part of
gonna
the whole
ask you-
family.
I'm going to ask you this then. That's just the Freak Show network, right?
That's what we call it internally, yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted to
He's
know.
like, you've confirmed my thoughts.
Yeah, that's it.
The only reason
100%.
why-
Thanks for noticing.
the only reason why you showed up today, huh?
That's it, man.
Got your answer.
I love that they cloak everything and like, we're helping people. It's like, no, you're not.
No.
This is a freak show.
No, it's in the family. They're a sister network for Discovery. They actually did air the premiere episode of our show on TLC at like midnight to see how it did, but I don't think it was freaky enough.
Yeah, no, that's too normal.
It's too normal.
We need 700-pound people jumping in
Yeah.
pools and quarters.
Yeah,
Well, that is where Little People Big World aired, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that was TLC. My mother loves that channel.
Yeah. People love that shit, man. People love that shit. My whole thing with what we did was like, we're going to be a little more real and gritty. And we were. I didn't pull back the curtain all the way. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's a fucked up little world.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Oh,
There's more there. But, yeah.
I can't wait to hear off mic.
maybe there'll be another season.
Send in Jimmy the hair guy undercover.
I pitched Jimmy he should try to get into midget wrestling as like the Andre
not
the
short
Giant of midget wrestling.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, you got to be under 5 feet tall for the Micro Wrestling Federation. Under 5 feet, you're in.
Okay, but he's like 5'2", 5 foot, so I was like, maybe
yeah.
he could be the tallest dwarf, you know?
Yeah.
And that's his gimmick. He's the Andre the Giant of the midget wrestlers.
I don't know, man. Dude, some of those guys be like 4'7", benching 280 pounds. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I have no doubt that
There's some
ass
strong
kickers.
boys, yeah.
Now I can't get the image out of my head of Jimmy wrestling little people.
I want it more than like anything in the world is to watch Jimmy in the ring with one. of them.
We'll get some funds together.
Yeah.
We'll see what we could do.
All right, so he meets the girl.
Pam, played by Lily James.
Yes.
This is where I realized there might be some rose-colored glasses.
Why?
You don't like Pam?
The way Kevin acts towards her, it's like he doesn't know how to talk to a woman. He doesn't really like.
He's a sheltered
Ask
kid
her
who just hangs out with his
questions.
brolic brothers all day. What do you
Yeah.
know?
I guess.
No.
Not
Yeah.
everybody had 5 women in the house like you, Steve. You Casanova, you.
He was getting laid
he
every
wins.
night.
No, I know what you're saying, Steven, and it struck me too because I think that, first of all, let me just say for the record, I don't think this was a very well-made movie, okay? And
Oh,
Okay,
like
yeah.
production
overall,
wise?
Yeah.
well, production, yeah, sure. Just the way it was told, I didn't think it was a great movie, and I thought a lot of the performances were kind of, they made bad choices, I think. And one of the things that Zac Efron came off as this like babe in the woods, this wide-eyed doe,
Yeah.
and the way he played it, he's kind of almost seemed a little slow.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, right. And it
If
just
you're
like
a jacked, famous wrestling guy locally, there's not
Yeah.
a single woman that tries to talk to you once in your life in
Yeah.
22 years.
Have you been to many wrestling shows?
Come on. Yeah, I've seen the WWF where women are just flashing on public television, and that was like censored stuff.
That was the 90s.
Like,
That was the attitude era.
like you're gonna sit here and tell me that you're, I just don't know. I don't talk to women. I don't buy it. I don't buy that one. He's not. He's a good old church boy. He's not cutting it for me.
Didn't we find out the last time we talked about Zac Efron that like he suffered a brutal like car accident?
Yeah, do
Yeah,
you know
facial.
about this?
Yeah.
So
yes, tell me.
he slipped and fell like in his house and like broke his jaw. And when they did reconstruction surgery, it like really enhanced like his jaw, and like he looks very different than he did, you know, when he was a kid.
He does.
Because of that.
Yeah, he does.
Square fit. Do you think that actually happened? He tripped? Was he like, I want a better jaw, and I'm just gonna tell
No,
you?
I
like,
think
He's
he
got an Easter Island head face now.
Yeah, he was already
Very good, Anthony. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's a Moai statue.
Well done. Oh, yeah.
I gotta make that image now.
He was already Zac Efron. He was already incredibly handsome. I don't think he was worried about
He didn't
it.
need a more chiseled jaw.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, dude, getting that physique is insane.
Yeah.
Because it really looks fake. It
Oh,
looks
yeah.
like the dudes in 300 that were like helped by whatever computer shit.
Like the first scene, he gets out of bed. I'm like, is that a body double?
Yeah.
Like, what's happening? Like, he's not that. And then
No,
it's like, no.
he walks out, and then I'm like, so glad my wife's not watching this. Like, fuck you, Efron.
I actually think he's a very good actor. He should.
I like Efron.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say he was bad. I said
Yeah.
I don't agree with all the choices he made, and there's a lot of it's a director. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm not gonna mock what he did. I just some of the choices that I saw happen. His character didn't. It didn't feel genuine to me. It
Right.
felt weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think this was Efron's attempt in his head, like I'm going for the Oscar?
No.
No, I think maybe.
I don't think
I
so.
think he was. Yeah.
I think that this was a amateur director issue. Sean Durkin is
Interesting.
the director.
Interesting.
If
Yeah.
you look at his credentials,
do much.
He didn't do much before this, and he didn't do anything big before this. And you have a story that was really sad and really like hard to tell because it's so much involved. And I agree. There's missteps here with acting and storytelling.
Is this the least bizarre A24 movie?
There's others, you know.
I don't know. It's a good question.
They put out, weird shit.
Yeah.
They're an indie studio. That's what they are. All right, so we get to the point where he's going to have a big match. They're going to put it on ESPN.
Yeah.
It's a
Saturday
big
night
deal.
slot.
Yeah.
Massive deal for this time. Everyone's watching TV that night.
And he talks about how his first brother died at 5.
Yeah.
And the way he died is pretty crazy.
It's insane.
He was electrocuted, and then he drowned in a puddle.
By like a tow
In a
hitch.
row?
It was
6 years old.
Yeah.
You ever see like the back of a car that like tow hitch?
Yeah.
There was an electric current attached to it, so he touched it and got electrocuted.
And then that made
shit.
him go face down. He wasn't dead, into a puddle, and it drowned him.
Wow.
Messed
My
up.
brother stuck a penny in an electrical socket when he was like 4 years old.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was brutal. Yeah.
Yeah.
That might explain a few things.
Meanwhile, Jurassic Park would have you believe that kid survived when he held on to that fucking
100,000 volts or
meant for
something. Yeah.
T-Rexes. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
So you've seen Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
right? There's a scene where the little kid is climbing down the electric fence. And Tim, and he has to get down
Big
before
Tim,
they
the
turn
human
the
piece of
power
toast.
back on.
Yeah.
It's like 10,000 volts. And he's holding it, and they turn the power on, and the kid is holding it. He gets electrocuted. He flies back, and he lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not the most egregious thing Hollywood's done.
No.
But yeah.
I like that you just explained the most famous scene in one of the most famous movies ever.
Yeah. I don't know.
Is that the most famous scene?
It's one of them.
I don't think so.
I don't know. That's a movie I saw one time in the theater, and I never
serious?
thought to watch it again. Yeah.
Wow.
I saw it when it came out. And, yeah.
You're like the one guy.
What? That doesn't binge watch Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Well, you realize he's built a life, and it came out when you were like
How many
6.
times have you seen Jaws?
Many times. But that's my error. I saw it in the
Yeah.
theater when it came out. And,
You gave him a pass?
No, but it's just that makes sense. That's his Jurassic Park.
I'm old, guys. I'm old.
Jaws is pretty fucking awesome, though, so he explains about, the Von Erich curse to the girl and all this, and he's going to go against Harley Race. And Harley Race is a big fat guy.
Yeah.
And these two in the ring
He's
could not
hilarious.
look more
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
One guy looks like I popped my shirt off, and the other guy looks like Steve.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not.
Look
no.
at all these compliments.
Yeah.
you're getting.
Yeah, what's happening?
And they put on a match, and the plan is it's going to end in a disqualification, so the champion can keep his belt, but technically Von Erich will win. And the hope is that because of this, it's going to...
Give him a chance to be world champion for the NWA.
yeah, they'll bring him in, and he could win the NWA belt.
And this fight kind of gives you a glimpse into that coordination, like live coordination, where it's like we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. And he suplexes him onto a concrete floor and knocks the wind out of him.
Yeah.
And he struggles to get up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, and you kind of see like, oh, I see. So this actually, if something goes wrong, you kind of have to wing it. And if I fuck your day up, I'm staying champion, and that's it, whether we planned it or not.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I like this.
This was apparently true.
Yeah.
yeah.
He got fucked up.
He got thrown out on the concrete.
Well, it just took him longer to get up, and then the brother, Dave, does a great
Mike thing.
Yeah.
on the mic. He handles himself well, and the dad's like, "Well, you failed. You succeeded. You're number one. You're going to Japan. You're going to Japan."
Well, Kerry is always number 1, but he rose up to number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to think it was like this was today. He'd have like a TikTok with like his kids' faces, and he slides like the rankings up and down.
It's like the Doomsday Clock.
Yeah.
Wait, who did the good promo? It wasn't.
Wasn't it
the,
Dave?
The kid from the chef
Bear?
show. It wasn't the kid from the Bear, right?
No, the bear is Kerry.
No, that's Kerry.
So-
Dave is the one who saved it.
right.
Dave,
and
yeah.
then he
Dave's
goes
the
to
one who saved
Japan.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
David goes
Okay.
to Japan, and in real life, that's
Okay, we got that.
what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went to Japan, and tragedy.
And he was set to win the belt.
It looked like he was roiding. Like, why was he vomiting?
They were all roiding.
They were all roiding.
They were all
Right.
roiding.
No, he had legitimately had, they say, gastroenteritis.
Wow.
And there were the inside wrestling circles, like Ric Flair said this for years. He said that, I forget what wrestler, but he said some wrestler and him were partying and did drugs. And he OD'd and then cleared out the drugs from the the hotel room, and like he really didn't die the way they said he died. But they did autopsies. It's bullshit.
Right.
The guy just happened to have a freak accident.
Really?
Well, he did die. Yeah, that's the way he died. He got that condition.
It was like a ruptured stomach
he
or
had
something.
a ruptured intestine caused by acute enteritis.
Enteritis.
Yeah.
Do you think if he's not in Japan, he would have lived?
I think maybe, but also the steroids probably didn't help that.
I mean, if he's vomiting blood at the wedding, he probably should have went to a doctor.
Yeah, I think depends how far gone it was. If he got earlier treatment, he definitely would have lived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is winning that title, and you go get treatment, you're not winning the
You
title.
don't not go to Japan.
You gotta go to Japan to win the title.
And the father's pressuring him, the evil father. Which may be true. I don't know.
I want to make you proud, Daddy.
Yeah.
That,
so
you know,
proud.
they say behind every great rock song is a troubled father-son relationship. So
Yeah, why haven't you made any music?
I have no ability.
He did make music,
This-
and it was a
this
masterpiece.
is music.
Yeah. The podcast is my
I
symphony.
should have said rock.
So now we see like Jimmy Carter's on TV and the family's watching, and he's like, "We're not going to the Olympics
Soviet
because the
Union.
Soviets invading the free people of Afghanistan."
Dude, I remember
Great Mujahideen.
I remember being so mad in 1980 that our guys and gals weren't going to the Olympics, right? Like, what the fuck? Who are you punishing except these athletes?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself,
Yeah.
Carter. You know?
People that train their whole lives for this moment are thrown away.
It's like
We're
cutting
not going.
Yeah,
to
and
spite your
Soviets like,
face.
okay, we win more medals. Thank you.
Yeah, what a stupid ass move, man. That accomplished nothing.
And you had guys like Lee Kemp, an American who was going to win the fucking gold medal in wrestling, that they fucking basically ripped from him because of that.
Horrific.
Yeah. It's bullshit.
Fucking Carter. I remember those years. Remember waiting with my family on those gas lines. Fuck you.
One of the worst presidents fucking ever. Just a destructive legacy to
That's
this
why
day.
the next election was like the biggest landslide ever.
Anyway, all right. I don't want to get bogged down and piss people
Guy was
off.
on hospice for fucking 100 years. So it would pop
We
up.
just lost him.
They would pop up. They'd be like, "Hey, Jimmy," I'm like, "This fucking guy's still alive? This guy's on hospice longer than anybody in the history of the world."
Remember that bizarre picture
Did I spit
of
on
him
you?
and his
No,
wife?
no, you're good.
Him and his wife with Joe Biden.
Oh
It
my
looks
God.
like they're in little chairs.
Yeah.
That's a crazy picture. That's a real picture.
It looks like Lord of the Rings.
It really does. Like they captured them and shrunk them down.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the weirdest picture ever.
I think there's like 3 functioning brain cells in that whole photo.
I gotta tell you that Rosalind Carter in her day wasn't too bad looking.
She's one of the most attractive first ladies.
Yeah,
I'll
you
say.
gotta put her
Yeah.
up there.
I'm gonna look. All right, I'm gonna look this
Yeah,
up.
Rosalind
right
Carter.
now.
Young though, young.
Yeah.
Hanging
The
out
bar is low, by the way. We'll
It's
say.
Melania, Jackie, and then there's a big gap.
Oh, she was.
Yeah, Rosalind wasn't too bad.
Look her.
All right. Oh, yeah.
I like Barbara Bush. Yum.
Laura Bush's not bad.
Laura Bush was
She was
actually
all right.
attractive.
She was
yeah.
all
Yeah.
right.
Couple hot daughters.
Eleanor.
All right, so they canceled the Olympics, and this was something that I wasn't expecting. Because in the early part of the movie, they're like, Kerry's going to be an Olympian, he's training for the Olympics. In my head, I was like, oh, he's an amateur wrestler,
Yeah.
you know? And then they're showing him throwing discus. I was like, how the hell did he end up not being like an amateur wrestler? And he ended up doing
He
discus.
throws
Right.
that fucking
Yeah.
thing, the frisbee.
And it's canceled, and he's home. And it's like, well, now you're going to fucking...
Yeah, suit up, bitch.
Yeah, you're going to learn to wrestle.
It seems like you can just learn to wrestle pretty quickly.
I think if you're fairly athletic,
You just do it.
you probably can. You know, I bet the promo stuff is harder for most people.
Really?
Like getting good on the mic.
Well, it's acting.
That's acting, and like that performance aspect, I bet is harder for most people who are naturally athletically inclined. You know, because it's easier to learn to take a fall and
Yeah, I guess.
do that stuff than to have mic skills and work a crowd.
Way to just fucking dump on Chevy Chase's entire career.
Oh, he had it both, man. Chevy could do it all. Chevy, Belushi, Radner.
Fucking love Gilda.
Gilda
Radner.
Radner.
We get Tom Sawyer. We
Yes.
get Mike's little rock out session.
Nice.
And It's like, oh, a nice
I-
little montage.
I thought that like that was gonna be like, because the way they set that up, where he drops the needle on the records, I was like, oh, Rush is gonna destroy this family. Like his music is gonna like ruin everything. But no, it was just a montage. I was a little disappointed.
The family hears trees and just loses their shit.
He's introducing his brothers to pot and prog.
Right.
Do you like Rush?
I loved Rush when I was middle school, early high school because I'm a drummer. You know what I mean? How do you not
Neil
love Rush?
Peart.
But yeah, I had a lot of Rush albums, but it waned.
Okay.
Fritz is like, we don't speak Getty's lead name in this house.
We're big Rush fans at this stage.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
big
yeah.
Rush fans. Yeah, I have a good appreciation for Rush, but it's I must admit I'm not reaching for a Rush album anymore like I did when I was a kid.
You're a Zeppelin guy.
Yeah, I'm more of a Zeppelin guy. Yeah.
What's the House as a Whole the other day?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
What's the best Zeppelin song?
The best Zeppelin song?
Yeah.
I mean, it it depends on your mood, but I'll tell you, you can't you can't deny Stairway to Heaven. There's a reason it's there. But, 10 Years Gone, Since I've Been Loving You is often listed as my favorite Zeppelin song, masterpiece after masterpiece.
I'm an Achilles' Last Stand guy.
Oh, Achilles' Last Stand, because you're a Rush fan, because it's epic. Achilles' Last Stand, that whole Presence album,
Yes.
I say, is
That's their
like
best album.
Bonham's finest work. Yeah, that's
that
an
album's
amazing, underrated album.
Great.
Yeah.
New Royal Orleans.
Oh, yeah, musicianship on that album is phenomenal.
So, gonna jump back in here.
What you got, Steve?
The Fabulous Freebirds
Yeah.
fight the Von
Erichs.
Erichs. This is the 6-way tag team championship. I immediately thought of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I thought that's where they got it from.
Well, the
You know what I'm talking
Freebirds
about?
were a real group.
Yeah. But like the Birds of Freedom, they come out dressed as like the birds and start singing and shit like that. I was
They
like,
do a
I
pro
think they
wrestling
got it from
episode
this.
where they're in like bird
Yeah,
outfits.
I think they got it from them. I didn't know that.
They probably did.
Yeah.
Probably did. No one's got an original idea out there.
No. But this is where he calls out NWA and is like, my boys are going to be champion. First this guy, then this guy, then this guy.
He does the fucking
Does it.
ranking.
Yeah. And they all know. They're like, Dad loves you more. It's like, oh, no.
And they're at the wedding. We kind of skipped a bit, but they're at the wedding. I put David gets shot.
Someone got shot?
What?
I don't know why I wrote
Who got shot?
No, you just can't read your own handwriting.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, David gets sick. He throws up.
Right, in the
Oh,
bathroom.
yeah, that's sick, I think.
Oh, my God.
That's gotta be sick.
Yeah.
Just start typing it, man.
Or I was having a stroke as I was writing. I don't know. And he's going to Japan. He's
Maybe
throwing
Brian
up in
got
the
shot.
bath. And
Maybe he should.
and I like the parents decide like, hey, we can go bang now.
Yeah.
You know?
Right, finally,
We'll
finally.
leave the wedding.
Let's leave my son's wedding to go fuck
Yeah,
at home.
I
Woman,
don't.
I have time to show you affection.
It's not. I gotta tell you, I just don't think it's good filmmaking to make any sense. But again, with this puking scene, it's again back to Steve's assertion that the brother Kevin is just this wide-eyed, innocent knave. It's like he doesn't even know. Okay, when a human being is vomiting up blood, that human being should seek medical attention.
He does tell him to.
He goes, oh, maybe you should. He says, maybe you should see a doctor.
Yeah, that's not a suggestion at that point. You know what I mean?
It's like, we're going to take you to the hospital.
He's
But what about your band?
How about take your brother? Take your brother to the hospital. He's throwing up blood.
I mean, we know he's physically capable of picking up his brother, putting him over his shoulder, and taking him to a hospital.
Yes.
It should have been done.
I think he would have really fell down the rankings if he did that, though.
And if you're not going to
true.
do it, at least show that there's an intent to be the best brother. Like, oh, he's sick. Maybe I'll get to go to Japan. Because show
so
some flaw.
Oh, man.
Well, he comes from his father.
How about, like, the other thing that we haven't brought up? Like, they're not allowed to go to their family
party.
for any kind kind of emotional device.
yes.
It's between you. You handle it.
You boys handle it no matter
Listen,
what.
we're not going to cry here like losers. We're going to flip a coin and see who's my favorite.
So,
Mom,
It's like, what are you doing?
Dad's too hard on Mike. You talk to him.
so
God loves you.
So David is dead.
David's
Oh,
dead.
just
David-
like- that's
David's
what-
dead.
that's what
David dead.
happens.
Yeah, he died at
That's what happens in Star
25.
Trek 3.
Died in Japan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Died in Japan just like that. They came back. They had like a big funeral for him here. They put on a memorial show for him. And I like at the funeral, they're not allowed to wear sunglasses. The dad forbids it.
Yeah, but you also can't cry.
You can't cry or wear sunglasses.
That's
Stern.
That's a classic, let me paint this father as just an unfeeling douche
Yeah.
that don't cry,
Not allowed to show any kind of weakness.
Yeah.
They're Vulcans.
Yes. You Japanese bastard! You killed my son.
He gets a postcard from Japan. That's bullshit. That I know never happened.
Postcards from Japan.
Yeah.
That's the name of my memoir.
Oh, was that when you were in Iwo Jima?
Like letters from Iwo Jima.
Harsh time in Iwo Jima, right?
So
You write nothing on the postcard. It's pictures with like a little thing like cool, right?
Ooh, look, Mount Fuji.
So now Kerry is going to be the guy who steps up. His dad's like, Kerry's getting the next push. We're going to make him a star.
He's got to fight Ric Flair.
He's going to fight Ric Flair for the belt. And when this is happening, I like this shot in the movie of the mother watching it on TV, and you see like David's ghost in the background, very loose, like watching too. And Kerry wins, and it's like triumphant for the family. They do like a parade, they call it, like the Champions Parade. And the movie will have you believe the next day he gets in a motorcycle accident and loses his leg.
Yeah.
It's like 3 years later.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And the other thing is he lost the title the next month.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he had it for 1 month and then gave it back
And
to
it had
Ric
nothing
Flair.
to do with having a missing foot.
No.
I see. Okay.
Which is, you take things
Yeah.
like that in Hollywood, you condense time, but it's a very specific choice to make it the next day, like he couldn't handle it or whatever it was. I thought it was weird. When I found out that didn't happen that day, I thought it was like a weird stretch. You could have let a little time pass.
Yeah.
They made it so that he went driving drunk, like because of the grief of missing his brother.
Yeah.
And it works for the movie.
Yeah.
Or just the stress of how much it took to become
Right.
the champion. Look at the sacrifice that you have to do, and I can't handle it, so I'm going to go drive really fast.
Yeah. There was like this self-destruction slant in all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they can't stop themselves, except Kevin.
Because he had the wife.
He had the wife, which I want to talk
Well,
about in a second.
Carrie was married.
Yeah,
real life.
he was married in real life. They leave it out.
They leave it out, and he has 2 kids, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Which is like
Makes it worse.
right.
But listen, in Hollywood's defense, you put it based on actual events.
Right.
And then we're going to
Yeah.
tell you a good story based on actual events. It's fine. It's fine, guys. We do it.
Is it?
Wait a minute, that just
That's
sounded
Hollywood,
I gotta tell you,
baby.
that just sounded so pretentious because I have nothing to do with Hollywood. I'm like, we do it. Me, Spielberg, Soderbergh. This is what we do in Hollywood.
Not Spielberg, Steven.
Yeah. I didn't want to push it. I didn't want to start name dropping, but yeah, I call him Steve-O. Yeah. That's what they do.
He accentuates the O. Steve-O.
So now, they're gonna. Zac Efron has a baby, and he gives his kid a different name. He's like, he's not Von Erich.
Is that true?
That I believe is. Let's see. I didn't see anything about that.
I think it was Atkinson.
Atkins. Yeah, I think that's real.
I think that's real too.
the
I'm just
diet?
making up that I think it's. I mean, I do think it's real. I have no evidence.
Like the diet, Atkins.
Adkins.
Oh, ad.
Were you
Bad.
were you guys wrestlers in high school? You look like wrestlers, both of you.
No, I'm just fat.
He's fat. He wrestled in high school.
That I know.
yeah.
We've talked about
I've
that.
done grappling later in
Yeah.
life. So wrestling, jiu-jitsu, judo. With him too.
Yeah.
I went a little further than he did, but he still has some wrestling techniques that he could use. Knew the whole wrestling team. Was never a high school wrestler.
How come you didn't wrestle?
Yeah, never fell into it. Not until later.
Yeah.
I left high school at a young age and started working.
He's not a sports guy.
No, I never have been.
Yeah.
I was a fighter. I fought a lot, like martial arts, but never like just popular sports. I wasn't into it.
Yeah, me either, except for wrestling.
Yeah. Well, wrestling's like a different beast though, because it's more chess than it is like strength.
Yeah.
Where like you take a striking martial art, it's completely just whoever's the strongest is gonna whip your ass kind of thing.
How far did you advance in the wrestling game?
Oh, not very far. I mean, I didn't make it out of the districts. I took a third in the district my senior year. I had a tough weight class. I had a lot of wins my senior year. I had a good. I'm proud of my senior year. I was like
Okay.
20-4. You know, a lot of pins. I was big on pinning people. Yeah, I wasn't great. I was solid. I was a good wrestler. I enjoyed it.
Have you ever heard of the technique checking the oil?
Checking the oil.
Yeah.
Sounds a little sexual.
It is.
Wow, nailed it.
How do we do it?
Well, Brian's going to show you.
Are we get a hands-on demonstration?
So I wrestled. I was a dirty wrestler. If I could beat you clean, I would. But if I couldn't, I'm gonna put out everything at my disposal to get it done. So, I would, if I'm close, like to the butt, I'll put a little finger in there.
You did?
Yeah, I've done it.
You check the oil.
There was
Oh.
yeah, check the oil.
The dipstick.
The dipstick.
I get it.
There was one match I was against a kid, and me and this kid
He came.
were go.
The happy ending match.
Me and this kid were going at it, and like everything I threw at him, he would counter, and like I couldn't get the one up on him. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do to like beat this kid. So I was like, I'm just gonna grab his balls. And as we're wrestling, I just start grabbing his balls, and I get a big advantage on points. And in between periods, I hear him go to his coach. He goes, "Coach, that." Is grabbing my balls, and in that moment, I'm like, I just won, and
I'm in his head.
yeah, and we go back out there, and he starts grabbing mine, and
Nice.
we're in like a ball grabbing contest
Wow.
Hot.
to see who could win. I ended up winning on points.
You ask why I didn't get into wrestling.
Wow.
Friends with him.
I don't even know if I can comment on this story at all.
Yeah,
I'm picturing like two dogs in a dog park just circling and chasing and biting each other's balls.
yeah. It was like when I was going for the pin. I'd be like, fucking, yeah.
In this case, you didn't feel like penetrating his anus with your fingers, the checking the oil, as you say.
It didn't help me, so this time I went for the
Ball
balls.
grabbing.
Yeah.
Try
I
it.
mean, maybe I would have gone further in my career had I incorporated some of these techniques. I tried to keep it clean, Rupp.
I know. Did you ever put your finger in like the ear hole of the headgear and pull it?
Yeah, no, Rupp. I was an honorable wrestler. Much like Kevin Von Erich.
I'm like, if
Beaver doesn't believe you.
Toughen up for a second.
if I could have pulled out like dust and thrown it in my opponent's face, like blood sport, I totally would have.
Yeah, but you were going with the rough and tumble rules.
But I want to win at all costs. I don't care how it's done. Yeah.
Wow. This is good to know about you.
Yeah.
When this is over, can I see a little demonstration?
Oh,
of you
sure.
two?
Yeah. You don't have to threaten me with a good time.
A little judo versus wrestling demonstration or something?
He might have a heart attack. I don't want to do this.
Steve could never take me down.
Judo. That's what they used to make bagels.
Actually
Yeah.
impossible.
And Anthony, you're not involved in any of these grappling sports?
No, I had a band in high school. That was my thing.
What'd you play?
I was a singer.
Oh, yeah.
Voice of an
You want to
angel.
sing some bird? You want to sing a little for us?
What do you want me to sing?
If he's gonna sing, I gotta lower this.
I was,
He's
I was,
gonna
I
blow
was,
them.
I was listening to Golden Earring on the way home last night. I blew my voice out.
You want to sing some Radar Love?
Is that what you're doing, Radar Love or
No,
Twilight
I was doing
Zone?
Twilight Zone.
Yeah. You came in
Get
here.
him, get him,
and sang?
Sierra.
All right.
All
I
right.
have to sing something?
Yeah, sing.
What do
Old.
you want me to sing?
All right, now you can.
Sing. I don't know.
Now I'm stepping into a twilight zone. This
That's
is
good.
a madhouse. Feels like I don't know the words, but yeah.
It's good. I could tell, man. You got the pipes. I could tell.
That was
It's
perfect. It's everything everyone wanted.
He's good at doing Maiden,
good. No, it's good.
One time he did a show pretending to be a Finnish man and spoke
That's
with a
true.
fake Finnish accent the entire time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know a Finnish accent if I
It's really
stumbled upon it.
I don't think he did either.
All right, what we got, Rupp? Let's
Sorry.
get.
All right. So,
Oh.
I'm not gonna touch them.
You
I'll
had-
kick them in your direction.
Hours to figure this out.
I just remembered they're in here.
Yeah, look, there's one down by you, Steve.
Steve, can you,
Steve, you own that one now. It's on the
Yeah, I
other
can't
side of the
touch that.
table there.
Yeah, I don't want to give it to him. I don't want to give him the satisfaction.
that's to satisfy your curiosity.
Well, before we continue, what weight class were you?
135.
I was actually smaller. I was, but I would go. I mean, I've wrestled there, but primarily I was between 25 and 30. So unless we were bumped, we wouldn't have. Went.
Yeah.
Now I'm like 3 of that.
I wouldn't get to either of you. 145.
All right. So, David is dead. We did all that.
Kevin trains Mike a little bit.
And he breaks his shoulder like
breaks
immediately.
his shoulder,
And dies.
which happens.
And I think
No, he doesn't just die.
well,
It's way more horrific.
So Mike, I think that one is supposed to be they're kind of blending him and Chris, the brother they don't mention who had brittle bone disease. I think they're combining it.
he actually got
But he
hurt.
did break his shoulder.
He broke his shoulder.
He broke his shoulder in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he gets a staph infection when they're operating on his shoulder.
Oh my God.
Toxic shock syndrome.
Dead.
He goes into a fucking coma. And
But he woke up.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't die from
Yeah,
that.
no.
yeah.
Right.
He goes into a coma. And he suffers brain damage. He actually suffered brain damage.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Well, they
So-
show it in the movie after.
And did you
Heartbreaking.
watch the real clip of his press conference?
No.
Yeah, they have that, like that moment they do in the movie. You could see that real clip.
They're spot on.
Pretty
They just
bad.
recreated it.
Yeah, it's
cool.
pretty.
it's sad.
Yeah, it's sad. And then he kills himself.
Yep. And he was discovered by.
How did he kill himself, though? I just saw him walking out into a field with a blanket.
What?
He
He
shoots,
shoots himself.
Okay.
Well, actually,
Wait,
he
what?
no. I'm sorry. He didn't shoot
talking about Mike.
himself. He wrapped
know.
himself in his sleeping bag.
That's what I thought. It was something bizarre.
Yeah.
Mike overdosed.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Mike took a bunch of pills.
He was
and
one who
drank.
didn't shoot
Yeah,
himself.
yeah. Yeah, he went like outside into like the woods and
Yeah.
drank and took pills
Yeah, and
and
left
put
a
himself in a sleeping bag and like died like that.
That's what happened to the woman who played Aunt M in the Wizard of Oz.
Auntie M
Yeah, she suffocated herself with a plastic bag.
on purpose?
Yes.
It's really weird that you know that, but I respect it.
Yeah. I remember as a kid being told never to put my head in a plastic bag because it could suffocate and kill me.
Yeah, well.
Did your parents tell you that?
I'm sure every parent has. It's good parenting advice.
Come to think of it, they didn't tell me.
I'll bet this Von Erich father didn't say shit about it.
You boys figure it out.
You enter that plastic bag at your own risk, son.
God
His head is in the bag. Please help us. We don't know what to do. You boys.
That's
figure it
out of my jurisdiction.
It's between you and God.
You can't breathe in that bag. It's your own weakness.
I'll tell you what, you get out of that bag. Moving up in the rankings.
Could be your number one spot.
So Kerry now is like determined to still make it, and he's like, I'm gonna wrestle with one leg. And I didn't know because he was the brother that like I had heard of the most. I didn't know that like he had so much success with one leg. Like he still makes it. Like he goes to WWE, WWF at the time.
Good he is.
Well, he
Yeah.
lost his foot, right? Not his whole leg.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, kind of like above the ankle, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's hard to be a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest.
Yeah.
Of course.
Whoa.
And they say
did it. That
this
was
is
wise.
the pain of the leg and the whole thing is where he got hooked on all the drugs, right?
Yep, he gets
Yeah.
hooked on
That
drugs.
seems about right.
We know a lot about the opiate
Yeah, it's
market.
a story we've heard all too much lately.
This is before the Saglers, too.
Yeah.
Sagglers.
Yeah, the guys who created OxyContin.
Oh, okay. This is early painkillers.
It was still a variant of an opioid, though.
Yeah.
You know, Pam is like, you got to come home. So apparently Kevin's not like at home.
That's So
It
he's
seems
like,
like he keeps going back to his family home.
well, he's sleeping like where they wrestle because he's scared to go home and like bring the curse
Curse
to
them?
his new family.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to get him. You know, the new kids, who, by the way, went on to wrestle under the name Von Erich, and I couldn't find anything in my brief
Are you
search about them
serious?
having a different name. So I think that's
Wow.
movie shit. Yeah. But
Taking a lot of
they
liberties.
became wrestlers. Where I guess if
You'd
that,
think they'd be like, why are you wrestling? Wrestling is a road to destruction.
Killed
That's
everyone.
our
No, and the daughter is a big wrestler.
she was a wrestler too, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So was
She's
George Foreman's
quite the looker.
daughter.
Wrestler?
You know, she was a boxer.
Oh, she was a boxer?
Yeah.
R.I.P. George.
But R.I.P. his daughter. She killed herself, too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got all the info.
You do.
Why are we not doing the George Foreman movie?
Oh, yeah, there was
Yeah,
a
there
George
is
Foreman
one,
movie.
Isn't there? Oh,
And
Yeah,
he's
just
dead.
came out.
we'll do it.
They got him, too.
The trailer ends with a joke about
What
him
did he know?
sponsoring the grill, and they're like, "You're sponsoring a grill. You're never gonna make any money from that." And like the trailer cuts to black. Like that's the tag to get you to go see the movie. Come see the man behind the
Oh,
grill.
it sounds like it got you
Gee,
already.
I
Oh,
want,
that sold me.
That's the post-credit scene.
yeah, because you're wondering if that Foreman grill ever took off.
Yeah.
I'm inventing a grill. The fat pours into a container at the bottom of it.
I had George Foreman grill burgers like almost every night growing up.
Me too.
Yeah.
They were huge.
Yeah, your father just takes it, puts it
Yes.
down, shuts it.
Dad loves a good
Yeah.
George Foreman. You never had a George Foreman grill?
No.
What are you, communist?
No.
Good answer, Steve.
Kevin fights Ric Flair. Well, there's a
Yeah.
little like in between there, but we don't really need to go into it because he fights Ric Flair, uses the claw, and he gets disqualified.
Yeah, it goes a little crazy.
And that is so accurate to a real match which took place. They sped up the timeline a bit, but it's actually like the next year after David they do this, the second annual Parade of Champions thing, and that's when he does this and like he gets DQ'd with the claw. But I don't think he's as bloody as that. But the guy doing Ric Flair absolutely nails it.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, good Ric Flair documentary on Netflix right now.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see the Vince McMahon one on Netflix?
I did.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it was good.
Like
Was it a hit piece?
So it doesn't start out like a hit piece. There's like 5 episodes almost about the history of wrestling, and then they get to episode 6 and like now we're just gonna tell you Vince is Hitler.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Doesn't he name sex toys after his wrestlers?
Yes, that's what they say.
How do you not like that guy?
It's really odd. I'm gonna fuck you with Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's like a guy you know.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's frightening.
His wife's Secretary of Education. All right. I like Ric Flair showing up backstage. He's like, "Let's go drinking, boys."
Yeah,
You
he
know?
likes Kevin. He's like, "You're a crazy man.
Yeah,
I want
it's
to
great.
fight. I'll fight you
His
anytime."
head is bleeding.
Yeah, he's bleeding all over the place.
And the dad is like really angry and like disappointed at the outcome of this.
Yeah, he doesn't love his son
But
anymore.
this is what I kind of struggled with until you were saying something about staging the ending of the matches. They would know that no matter what happens, he's not going to win the belt tonight. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think that's a bit odd.
It didn't fit. Like, yeah, he could have a mental breakdown, but it makes no sense. It really didn't. Where were we?
So now the
Oh yeah.
Kerry is going to the WWF.
And Kevin goes home. He's like, I'm gonna like be with my children now
Yeah.
because he had a mental breakdown. He can't do it anymore.
There's like a flash forward a bit.
Yeah.
So a couple of years later, and now he's selling the company. He's breaking the circle.
Yeah.
He's breaking the chain.
Well, I think they always say with a family business, one generation creates it, the second generation maintains it, and the third generation kills it.
That's not the case here, though.
No, this is the second generation just being like,
He didn't kill it. I mean,
he just sold it.
yeah, but it's like there were bigger forces that destroyed it. Like Vince McMahon is probably like out there doing his thing.
Well, wrestling is
Yeah.
getting ready to pop in the mainstream.
No, he sold at the right time.
Yeah.
He was not escaping the clutches of Vince McMahon.
Yeah. And he said that Kerry left for the WWF.
Yeah, Kerry's there. That's their biggest draw.
Yeah. So
Right, he got poached.
Yeah.
He also finds out that his dad was stealing money from him for
Yeah.
years.
I don't know how true that is, but that's fucked. Tracks with this guy's particular MO, though.
And he gives his dad a gun for Christmas.
Smith and Wesson
yeah.
And he's like,
357.
"Dad, let's go shoot it. Let's go shoot it." He's like, "I'm not shooting your gun now." You know?
He's angry.
It was a nice looking gun though.
Yeah,
The pearl handle.
That is the gun that
Yeah.
he kills himself with.
Yep.
Weird choice how he did that.
And Kerry calls up. This is actually real. He called up Kevin. Kevin was like way too far to like do anything, but he did
Right.
talk to him. And Kevin did not discover the body.
No.
Oh, no?
No, his father
His dad
did.
discovered it.
Last thing he said to his dad was, "I love you, Dad." Like hugged him, left the house, and then shot himself in the heart.
In the heart.
He shot himself in the heart, which was to me a weird like.
Yeah.
Like, how do you
Right.
Your
how do you
thumb.
choose that? You know, like it's right here. Ugh.
What if you miss?
Bad shot. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. I guess you bleed out slowly and die.
Yeah, I guess so.
So that finding out, right, that the father actually found him, that right before it, he hugged him, told him he loved him, and then finding out that they chose yet another scene to make the father look like a heartless prick. I'm like, all right, that means clearly there's an agenda.
I
here.
don't think they like the dad in this movie.
No, I don't think so.
I'm getting
I'm
that
starting to think that.
idea as well.
He shows up and he's just like, well, I guess you're number one by default now, Kevin. You know?
Yeah.
And Kevin just attacks his dad and they fight in the front lawn.
Yeah, like if you didn't get it up until now that the dad was the cause of all of their misery, now you have Kevin attacking his father because his father clearly killed his brother. I mean, it's like, we're going to spoon feed it to you,
Yeah.
which I don't think is great filmmaking.
No.
The wife is the only one that actually comes out and says it at one point when he's on the phone with her, if you remember.
Yeah. It's stop like doing this
It's
for
your
your
dad,
father.
it's
Yeah,
not
it's all
you.
your dad. Yeah.
Don't blame yourself.
So, and then it cuts to
The river Styx.
The river Styx. Yeah, which I think is cool.
Is it
Where-
the River Styx?
Well, he takes he takes a coin, he puts it on the boat,
Oh,
he
shit,
rides across
yeah.
the river, and he sees
Fucking
all
Greek
his
heroes.
yeah.
Like 300.
Yeah.
Great.
I
was
do
cool.
like this. This
It
was
was
cool. He
cool.
sees all their brothers, they're all hanging out.
Yeah.
It's heathen BS, but it's cool.
It was nice. Even little Jack's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good scene. It was a good scene.
Wait, didn't we have another brother? Where the fuck is he?
I think that this is probably the best scene in the movie. This
I think the end
movie.
is when it actually kind of all comes home.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a scene of Zac Efron watching his boys play,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just crying, and the kids come over and they're like,
Don't cry,
"Why are you
Dad."
crying, Dad?"
Yeah. We'll be your brothers.
He's yeah. It's
Yeah, it's
sweet.
actually like a happy ending. Like we've beaten
The curse.
the curse. There's some hope at the end.
Because the real curse, I guess, is an asshole dad.
Yes.
That's what they're saying.
Yes.
I wonder if the director had a problem with his dad, to be honest with a writer, because
Oh, they all
seems
do.
rough.
Yeah. So I think he has 4 children and 13 grandkids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
They all
show,
live on
show a
his
nice
ranch.
family photo. One
Yeah.
kid's getting thrown in the air. It's really funny.
Dangerously
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
I paused it like, whoa.
They're pro wrestlers. Look at him. Yeah. He's genetically designed to take a fall.
The only,
Yeah, but he's a Von Erich. He's gonna break his
That's true.
spine. And then
The curse.
Be sad.
The curse.
I'm so sad. I'm 8.
and that's the story.
Yeah.
On Eric's.
What's the story, Mark?
I gotta say, what do we rate this? We usually rate this 1 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 6.
I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
liked
there-
it.
I'm there too.
As a film rating, as
As a film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 4. And
Okay.
And I'm possibly being generous.
You guys.
Yeah.
You liked it more than
Well, you
us.
have a brother.
Well,
That's true. I have a brother.
well, look. Let's just say
I thought about calling him after watching this.
Why
Listen,
didn't you?
you may agree, you may disagree. Let's say Goodfellas is a 10.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This ain't no 8.
No. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Our scores are all over the place.
Yeah.
You can't like compare it to other things.
We do
It's just
kind
like,
of take
how much did
history.
you enjoy it?
Yeah.
you know?
We also take history into some.
I'm going 7.
Okay. I mean, that's fine.
So I feel like you were gonna give it higher until we gave it lower.
No, it's not like
Yeah.
the best movie ever, but I enjoyed watching it.
It was fine. It was a fine one-time watch. That's how
Yes.
I feel.
Cinematography, editing, great. Storytelling, not so much.
Yeah, the performances were good. You know, I thought it was a fine enough one watch, and like the end scene, I felt was emotional enough to kind of get me choked up a bit. So it gets some points.
Ant got choked up for a moment, but then went to his brother's room and moved shit around. Again, not telling him.
Get yelled at by a grasshopper. Get out of here. I'm not kidding. That's what it would say.
So
Bizarre.
I do a sketch for every movie, and then it's described. We'll let you pick,
Yep.
and you could. What does that sketch look like to you?
What, this thing right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the sketch. That's not words.
Okay. It doesn't look that dissimilar
Yeah, you have
to
to
this
tell us what you
parade
see.
of letters.
It's
What
not
do you
Chinese.
see here?
Is this from the movie?
Could be.
So it's
it could
Brian's
be anything.
representation of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do I see
Yeah.
here?
What does that look like to you?
Yeah, this looks like a 4-armed wrestler. has
Goro? From Mortal Kombat?
put down a stray dog that ran into the ring during a match. He killed it. He broke its back, and it's laying on
It's
the
not often we got a
floor,
whole story.
lifeless. And this 4-armed wrestler is raising all 4 of his arms in victory.
Triumph.
We gotta see this.
And by the way, you'll notice it's a loose page. The reason my book is full. My daughter came down because I left my book out and just went whoosh, and ripped my notes
This
out.
looks like a
And I was like, "Yep,
sacrificial
that's on
pit.
me.
Yeah, that'll
This
happen.
is a sacrificial pit with skulls. Like
This is-
This is scary.
This is a scene from Fallout New Vegas. The Legion has crucified a man and surrounded him in barbed wire.
You know, now that we have AI, we could probably like put some of these descriptions through.
And yeah.
See what
You
they look
certainly
like.
can.
So I did have one last thing with you, Nashel. I know you work in reality TV, so I wanted us to pitch you some reality shows, and if you're comfortable, maybe you could bring these to network, and we could, you know,
Okay.
yeah.
How many are we talking about here?
I think just 3, right?
No, let's just do one. Let's just do yours.
Ann has one, right?
He doesn't. Just do yours.
You want me to do one?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
All right, what do you got?
All right. So here's the show is called Baby Shuffle.
Baby Shuffle.
Yes, yes. And the way it works is a crew of guys goes to the maternity ward
Okay.
and they shuffle up all the babies.
Okay.
And then they go to the moms.
Yes.
And they say, "That's not your baby." But we can replace your baby back to where it was if you win an obstacle course, like most Extreme Elimination Challenge or Ninja Warrior. And we have the moms that just right out of delivery room. So they have no time to recover.
Yes.
And then they run an obstacle course, and whoever wins gets their baby back. The rest shuffled forever. What do you think?
I think you're a demented man, Anthony. And I think you two have some deep-seated father issues.
Did you just come up with that?
I will. I'm going to say this one's a pass.
All right.
Damn.
Yeah.
Now, Steve was clearly supposed to do one, and
No,
he
I didn't
didn't.
do one.
Okay. So I've been working on mine legitimately in my head for years.
Okay.
I'm being sincere right now, am I not? This is my dream show to air on TV.
Okay.
I want this to exist in the world.
All right. What do we got?
It's called Hidden Treasures.
Okay.
Every year, you hear a story that someone finds a Declaration of Independence in their walls, or a Constitution, or or a rare painting.
Yes.
You know, some
flying around.
weird thing inside their walls. This is the first prank-based historical show
Okay.
where people are contacted, and we have a historian talk about the real history of the object and all this, and
We've tracked it down.
we tracked it down to your house. And we believe it is inside your walls. And they're given a sledgehammer, and the film crew goes with them, and we have a host, and the host goes, "Smash that wall!" And they smash into the wall, and most likely, and unless there's a miracle, there's not going to be a Declaration of Independence there. But the hook is, the host goes, "That must be the wrong wall." And we see how many walls we can get them to take a sledgehammer to, in hopes that they may find a hidden treasure within their house that they are told is there. It's the first prank-based historical show, because we give the real history of the object. All that's legit.
Yeah.
The only thing that's fake is that it is not in their walls. And we're not destroying their own walls.
They are.
They are.
Do you repair the walls?
No.
I mean, I think that's
Absolutely
something-
We can combine this with a home renovation
We can't
show.
afford that.
double dip.
We can't afford
Yeah.
that.
We combine genres here.
I look, if we want, I think you could double dip then. Like, you know,
I
do
mean,
a
if
home
that's
repair?
the only way we can get it on the air.
yeah. I really just want to see someone take a sledgehammer to their walls looking for the Declaration of Independence.
I have to say, I love this idea.
yes.
I love this. What's the name of it? What are we
Hidden
calling
treasures
it?
with the Z.
Hidden treasures.
We're going for an urban audience.
Hidden treasure. I think we can come up with a better title that's
Okay.
more evocative of what the show is. But
Yeah.
we're going to kick that around with our development department.
I have been thinking of this show for years.
If this gets
I
on air,
kind of
I'm
like.
quitting.
I kind of like this. I don't know if it's not.
I'm flexible.
Yeah, no. You'll have to be malleable. We'll have to
I'm
take this
very.
idea and run with it. But at its core,
There's something, right?
I like this. I like this. Okay.
I'm ready to leave you guys. I'm going up with Michelle.
But now, I have to say, the development process, it's long and arduous.
Yeah.
So don't quit your day job. Don't abandon these guys just yet.
Okay.
But we may have something here. We're going to talk
right.
off camera.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
Anthony, no, and seek help. Rupp, this could work.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna take this to the next level.
I would just love, even just a pilot, to be able to shoot that. Just some motherfucker with a sledgehammer, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's amazing. I see why you're excited.
Yeah. And like, you know how like the Ty
Lincoln's
Pennington show was
cufflinks.
move that bus.
Yes.
This is smash that wall. That's
Smash that
thing.
wall.
In your wall.
It's got a little bit of a Geraldo Capone's
Yes,
vault element
exactly.
to it too. You know,
Like 4 or
Build up
5
the
extras
height.
cheering them
And
on.
it's like, and it's like, it's also you're playing on human greed because this person, how many walls in their house will they smash before they realize it's not there?
You know, you can get people in the casting process where like, let's say a husband has a thought that he wants to renovate a certain room, but he hasn't told his wife yet. You know, and you'd have to get somebody on the inside to
Yeah.
play along.
The gears are turning.
Yeah, like hey man, we were gonna destroy that room anyway. We're doing an add-on, so fuck it. You know,
Yeah.
tear that wall up.
Ah, this,
There you
I
go.
love this.
it's gonna happen.
We're
man.
gonna make Hidden Treasures happen.
The hidden treasures,
Yes,
man.
I love it.
Jewels.
All right, well done,
Well,
Rob.
yeah, whatever you want to call it, I'm
Jewels
fine.
under the
Yeah.
floorboards.
Yeah, all right.
All right, my
I
dreams
like
are
it.
coming true, man.
Yeah, I got a little tingling here. Yeah, we got
The
something
Hope
here.
Diamond is right under our feet.
Right, that's season 2 is destroy that
Yeah.
floor. No stopping.
What if they hit like an electrical or gas line?
I'm sure the show has insurance, and yeah,
Yeah, we're fully insured.
yeah.
6 people die in the pilot.
We can do this.
All right, Nashel, thank you so much for joining us. I
great.
really appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Thank you for letting me, join your little world here.
Oh,
It's great.
anytime.
It's
Welcome back
great.
anytime.
Yeah.
It's fun,
It's
man.
fun.
Cool.
Do you have anything you're working on that you want to pitch or promote or anything? I know you got Tell 'em Steve Dave stuff on the Patreon.
Yeah, no, just got my, Tales from Behind the Fake Counter and the new show that hasn't launched yet.
Yeah, coming. That's a tease. We're not gonna say what it is, but there's a new Nashel show coming to the
Is
Tell
there
'em Steve
anything
Dave
at all you
Patreon.
can say about it? Or?
I don't know. I don't want Walt to
Yeah,
get
no,
mad
I
at me,
wouldn't
so I'm
say-
not going to say.
Oh,
a
I
word.
I thought you had like a real show, not
No,
not
no,
that the Patreon
whoa.
isn't real.
Guess who's not invited back?
no. I don't. Nothing. I'm pushing now. But thanks for the opportunity.
All right, no, happy to do it. I got a Nielsen thing now, so
Is that right?
Yeah. So you let me know you got a show in there. I'll
You
make
got a
sure.
Nielsen thing?
Dope.
What is he
Let's
talking
keep that in the DL. I'm not supposed to say anything, but
You
yeah.
said it on the show.
Just
Yeah,
said
I
it.
know. That's true. Yeah.
You gonna bleep it out or cut it?
No, I don't care. Yeah, I got a Nielsen box. Yeah.
Really?
Sweet.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
You're
do-
a people meter.
I'll tell you, I feel whenever now I'm more conscious about what I'm watching. I was like, do I want to help this? You know?
Right.
Like, what do I want to champion today?
A lot of power
yeah.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
Does it pick up like radio stations?
Yeah, it does actually. Like, so when I turn my car and it gets like 5 minutes of like 10-10 wins or whatever.
Right.
Usually it's sports talk. But the way it works supposedly is like it gets all the sound that I hear. So like if I'm like if I put on the TV, supposedly it like gets a signal or something that tells it what it is that we don't hear.
Does that mean we can't play our weekly game of racial epithet theater where we just scream racial epithets at each other?
I mean, Nielsen will hear it. I don't think it affects any ratings. So,
You mean brunch?
Well,
Yeah, and the show's
sure.
like, get me out of here.
I'm sure he could take the watch off if you guys really
If we
want to
really
have
need
that
to
game
play,
happen.
yeah.
But it's bad enough I said midget 85 times on this, which I'm not really allowed to say. But you know what? I'm down with the community.
All right, you guys want to say bye?
Thank you for
Thanks.
listening.
Yes.
Everything subscribing. Goodbye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Guys, on the Reviewing History Patreon, patreon.com/reviewing history. This week we have a brand new show called We're Docking, starring me and Aunt G. Sometimes it's me and Steve.
Isn't it Let's Doc?
I changed the name.
Oh, thanks for the heads up.
I had to because I got promotional art.
Oh.
Yeah. And so the show was going to be Let's Dock, but the art came back and it said docking. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to change it to Where Docking to fit,
Okay.
rather than, deal with the artist
Sure.
doing it again. I'll show you the art. It's very disturbing. That's a tease for you guys. But Where Docking drops this Friday, April 11th, on the Reviewing History Patreon, me and Anthony are watching the documentary Darkon about live-action role players, and we're talking all about it. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. I think you guys will like it. Guys, you know the deal at this point. Like, subscribe, share a penny, leave a penny, all that stuff. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. Please help us grow. It's the only way we could do more cool stuff.
Take a penny, leave a penny, not share a penny.
I fucked it up.
It's like steal from us.
Yeah.
Have some penny.
We have pennies.
Split it up. This one penny.
Like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Leave a review on Apple iTunes and Spotify. We'll read out some good ones. It helps us. Only 5-star reviews. It boosts us in the algorithm. Want to give a big thank you to Tom, Steve, Dave, Brian, Walt, Q, Get 'em, last record down in the studio. We greatly appreciate it. Want to give a big thank you to Brian Nashel, our guest. Thank you guys for listening. Follow me personally on all social media at Brian Rupert. That's with 2 P's. Follow me on Letterboxd. I rank and review every single movie I watch, even the ones in my personal life, not for the show. Thank you guys so much.
Shut
We'll
up.
see you next time. Bye. Never. I never will.